Hi guys, Adam here. In this video, I'm going to talk to you guys about some language learning mistakes. Now these aren't just any language learning mistakes. If you are making them, it can slow down your progress, but also later on force you to quit language learning. I have talked to and observed many new language learners, and I came across these problems and issues that new language learners face, which causes frustration, slow progress, the feeling of being stuck, and later on simply just quitting language learning. They think that language learning is not for them, while in reality they are actually making these mistakes which is stopping them from learning their new language. I myself was victim of this language learning, and it has severely badly resulted my language learning journey. So let's take a look at it. Not starting from absolute basics, skipping the ABC parts of new language learning. A lot of people make these mistakes. They simply avoid the absolute basics, thinking it is not important, which causes problems all the way for months in their language learning process. When you are learning a new language, number one, research the new language first. See how it works. If possible, compare it to your native language, whatever it is. Then learn the ABCs of language learning. Once you master the sounds of those ABCs and you can pronounce words properly, then proceed on more advanced steps. I have noticed so many people simply just skip this part. They just directly go on some whatever course they can find and just start it. And guess what? Let's just say a person is learning French and he skipped the ABC part of the video and he says something like "Je parle français." This is wrong. Native French speakers will not be able to understand you. This is not French, this is English. You need to master the ABC sounds of a new language. Once you master the ABC sounds, then you can proceed on more advanced things. Remember, basics are important. If your basics are weak, whatever you build upon those basics, they are gonna have lots of problems. So please work on basics first. It doesn't take a long time and will make your language learning so much easier. Focusing too much on grammar. I also kind of make this mistake. While I was not focusing too much on grammar, I focused a little too much than I should. I should have focused on immersion too. When you are learning a new language, you should keep balance between immersion and grammar. You can either use a course that balances between immersion and grammar, such as a Teach Yourself book. It's a very good book. It focuses perfectly between grammar and immersion. Or use two courses, so which one focuses on grammar and other focuses on immersion. Example of that would be SML course, one course of SML a day, and 30 minutes of listening to Michelle Thomas, which is a grammar-based language learning. So SML and Michelle Thomas a little bit, and you should keep this balance. Do not at any stage focus too much on any part of the language learning, because you will simply slow down your progress. Now these courses I mentioned, such as Teach Yourself, SML and Michelle Thomas, these are not the only courses. There are lots of other courses which teaches grammar and immersion and mixture of those. Just make sure to keep a balance, whatever it is, whatever course it is, or if it's something that you are just doing by yourself, make sure to keep balance. If you cannot keep balance, it will cause problems. Using only one resource for learning your new language. This is a problem, this is a mistake that I also made. When I was learning a new language, I was only sticking to just one resource, but luckily I realized very quickly that this is not working right for me. It is slowing me down, and I added supplementary resources. The correct way to do this is to have one language resource or two main language learning resources. Whatever it is, it depends on the type of resource you have chosen. You can either have one or two in most cases, maybe three, but I won't recommend it more. I won't recommend more than two main language learning resources. Assuming you have chosen two language learning resource, add a supplementary language learning resource. What is a supplementary resource? It is a resource that you can use daily as much as you want, and if you want, you can skip it. So two language learning resources or one main language learning resource, and then supplementary language learning resources. Like, what is supplementary language learning resources? That would be Duolingo, and these type of apps that you can use, or even books which you can use as much as you want, whenever you want. And if you want to just skip it, sure, you can do that too. But make sure not to just stick to one or two main resources that you must do, and that's pretty much it. Add supplementary resources. It will accelerate your language learning very well. Some people use just too many resources to learn a language. This is a mistake which is the opposite of previous one. Do not use too many resources to learn a language. It will cause confusion. Lots of these resources, every resource has its own method of teaching a new language. And as you use so many resources, these methods begin to clash in your head, and these can cause problems. So, preferably not more than two main language learning resources, and then a third supplementary resource which you can do as much as you want. Some people choose 5 or 6 language learning resources, and it leads to confusion. Discipline is very important in language learning. Choosing the wrong resources. This is a mistake that I also made. When you are choosing resources, don't just look at reviews. Just because it has good reviews doesn't mean it will work for you. That resource might be above your level or below your level. If it's above your level, it will lead to confusion. You will not be able to use it properly. You will not be able to learn much from it properly. And you will simply think, oh my god, language learning is not for me, I'm quitting. No, please don't do that. I have made this exact mistake. I chose a resource that was not working for me. I forced myself to use it for 2.5 months, and I was not progressing. It made me depressed. So please, don't do that. Watch out for that. And if you choose a resource which is below your level, you are going to be like, I just wasted my time. You will just not learn pretty much anything from a resource that is below your level. So make sure to use a resource that is right for you. This is also the exact reason, if you see my old review videos, you will find that in the end of each video, I also show what kind of person this course is ideal for. So all this because I want to make sure that you guys, when you guys use this resource, you know that this resource is at the right level for you guys. So please be careful. Do not choose resource above or below your level. Be very careful about it. False expectations. This is the biggest reason why people quit language learning, because they have false expectations. And here's how. They go to internet and they see these social media posts, or on YouTube they see these videos where people claim, I learned a language in 5 days, I learned a language in 7 days, I learned a language in 15 days or 30 days or whatever. These ridiculous expectations, these ridiculous timelines, they give it to these new language learners who doesn't know about reality. And then they start learning language. 3 months pass by, they do a lot of hard work, and then they listen to a video in their target language and realize they don't even understand a single word. And guess what? It makes them depressed. After so much hard work, we can't even understand a word in new language, and they simply quit. This is the biggest reason. This is the story of many language learners who quitted language learning. Here is the reality. Please have correct expectations. It takes months in order to get the skill of listening properly. It takes very, very long time to learn a new language. You just cannot do it in 1 or 2 months. It takes time. If you know what you are doing, and if you are lucky that you also know a similar language to a new language, you can achieve it in pretty well in 3 or 4 months, but only if you are very lucky. In reality, it will take at least an year for you to properly use that language, listen to it properly and speak it properly. Just enough, not fluent like natives, but good enough that you can communicate. So do not be fooled on these fake videos. Be careful what you listen to. Be careful who you listen to. Studying until burnout. Lots of new language learners do this. They keep studying for hours until they simply burned out. They just can't take it anymore. They begin to hate studying. If you are one of those people, please don't do that. You should study in chunks about 30 to 45 minutes, maximum 1 hour sessions every day. Let's just say you have 4 hours to study a new language. Instead of doing a 4-hour marathon, do about 40 to 50 minutes of studying and then 10 minutes of rest. It should be activity like exercise or just listening to something or doing something else. And then again another 30-40 minutes or 1 hour session. I do not recommend a session more than 1 hour. Ideally 30 to 40 to 45 minutes is ideal, but just don't go above 1 hour. If let's just say you manage to go to even 1 hour, then rest for 10 minutes and then proceed on your next session. If you keep burning yourself out, you will begin to hate language learning or whatever learning you are doing. It doesn't have to be language. You will simply hate it later on and you won't even then study for 5 minutes. So please don't make this mistake. Do it in small chunks. Not reading. This is a mistake that many new language learners make. Remember, reading is your best friend. It is the fastest way you will progress in language learning. Do not skip on reading. Now, you have started a new language and of course you cannot read anything in it. Don't worry, let me tell you. First, do the basics, research the language, do basics, learn the ABCs. Then, select a course that is reading based and start from very basic level. Let me give you a suggestion of such a course, SML. It starts from very beginner level and keeps upgrading itself. And even when you finish SML, there are other reading material available which is higher and higher, which just goes above in level. So as you progress, keep reading at more and more advanced material. There are lots of books, lots of courses, just research it. You will find it in your language and use them. Remember, even in your native language, there are books that are above your level. Assuming you want to further upgrade your language learning, your native language learning, you can use those. So reading, you read a lot, and this is the best way to upgrade your language learning. So do not skip on reading, and I see a lot of language learners do it. Drowning yourself in immersion. What does this mean? I see a lot of new language learners, what they do is they spend hours listening to gibberish. They begin to learn new language, and what they do is they just watch random videos in their target language and it sounds gibberish to them. It doesn't even have subtitles, and they think that somehow through osmosis it will get into their head and settle down. Actually, that's the most inefficient way of learning a new language. Don't do that. Let me tell you something. Let me put it just like this. What's better than 1 hour of listening to something, to gibberish, to something that is gibberish that you don't even understand, is spending 10 minutes reading a paragraph and then trying to translate it using dictionary and whatever and seeing what this paragraph meant. What is better than 3 hours of listening to gibberish or watching videos that are gibberish to you? You don't understand a word in your new language. Is spending 30 minutes on a story in an SML book which is designed in such a way that there are short stories there, and you read it and you understand it. Remember, comprehensible input is very important. If something, even if it's reading material and it's not comprehensible to you, it's not helping you. You need to find material that is comprehensible, not gibberish, and if you find it comprehensible, you understood it, you learned your language. Now, people will say, but babies learn languages like this. Yes, let me tell you. Yes, babies learn language by listening to gibberish from their parents 16 hours a day. And after 3 years, babies talk in mostly at that time a toddler talks in 2 to 3 word sentences. When I want to study a language after 3 years, I don't want to speak in 2 or 3 word sentences. I want to speak properly. I want to read properly. I want to listen properly. I want to have a job in that language in that country. This is how good I want to be in that language after 3 years. I don't want to learn it like babies. Babies learn. For that baby, it might be the fastest way, as he doesn't have a previous language, another language to compare to. I am not a baby. I have another language that I can compare to and learn much quickly. Learning like a baby is a very inefficient way as an adult if you are doing it. If you are an adult and you think that you want to learn as a baby, that is a very, very slow method to learn a language. Please don't do that. Use your time correctly. Time is money. Time, if you focus on the right things the right way, you will learn your language way, way quickly. Not using or studying language daily. This is a mistake I see a lot of people make. They skip days or maybe study 1 day a week. That can be 8 hours a week, but that's not right. Let me tell you something. Studying 1 hour every day is better than studying 8 hours on Sunday. Whatever you do, make sure to incorporate language learning daily. Now, you say I don't have time every day. Not a problem. It can be a course that is 30 minutes or just 1 hour. A lot of people, 1 hour, even you can easily take out 1 hour in a day. It's not much. Let's just say 1 hour is too much for you. Let's just use a course like SML, for example. Use it. I really love SML. That's why I'm recommending it so much. Use 30 minutes of SML, reading SML every single day. And when Sunday comes, sure, study for 8 hours. But along with that 8 hours of study on Sunday, use 30 minutes of SML every single day. Make sure to do it daily. And language learning this way will progress much better, much faster. It will settle in your brain in a much proper way. Too much reliance on apps. Apps are amazing. They are a gift of this modern time. But so far, all the apps I have seen and used, I don't recommend so far not a single one of them to use it as a main language learning resource. Use it as a supplementary resource in side activities, sure. Just do not use apps, do not rely too much on apps to teach you learning. Only use it as a supplementary resource and you are fine, not as a main resource. Why are others learning faster than me? Let me tell you. When you are learning a new language, you realize you will come across people that you realize are learning faster than you. It doesn't mean that you are bad, it just means they are different. Let me show you an example and this chart. You will understand much more properly, and you can even place yourself somewhere in the middle of it, and you will know how fast you will be. On top, we have Mr. Xing. He only speaks Chinese. Second, we have Miss Olivia from USA, who only speaks English. Third, we have Mr. Abdul, who can speak English and Arabic and also has taught himself Italian language, so he speaks 3 languages. Fourth, we have Mr. Richard. This person is real and he can speak over 30 languages as far as I know, but real number is actually higher. He is insanely well trained in language learning. We will assume all 4 want to learn French and learn to a level that they can get a new job in France, which is B2 level. All 4 began at once. Richard is the fastest, and in less than 2 months, he can speak and read French very well. Abdul will be upset that he is very bad at languages because look how fast Richard managed to learn a new language, while in reality, he didn't know that Richard not only knows similar languages in French, but he also knows what exactly works best for him in order to learn a new language. He doesn't have any questions when it comes to language learning. He knows precisely what he needs to do. Abdul manages to reach B2 level in 4 months, and Olivia is very upset with herself by looking at him, because at 4 months she cannot understand a thing. What Olivia doesn't know is that Abdul has learned a language before. He knows of the mistakes new language learners make and will avoid those. On top of that, he knows Italian, which is very similar language to French, making his French learning so much easier. Then we have Olivia. Assuming she didn't make too many mistakes, she manages to reach B2 level in 18 months. And Xing is very depressed looking at her. because already since start he is stuck in his language. As he only speaks Chinese, his brain fails to comprehend how French works from very basic form. He has to learn from scratch that in French there are alphabets in French, which has sounds, and when combined, it makes words. While we take this for granted, Mr. Xing has to go through this dreaded learning phase, and even later his brain will have difficult time adjusting to his new language. And when it comes to language learning, there are lots more variables and things to consider. And everyone is different. Everyone lives differently, has different past experiences, has different educational levels, can speak different levels, can speak different languages. So not everyone is the same. So don't compare yourself to others. Just compare yourself to your past self. See how much you have improved from your past self. That is the only person you need to compare to, which is yourself. So these are the mistakes that new language learners make. If you found this video useful, make sure to like it because it tells YouTube that this video is useful. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask in comments, and I will see you guys again.